It's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. I got a stack of notes here, articles. I want to share this with all of you. Feel free to comment down below. We have a lot to talk about today. I want to start with this first article I was reading today. Fire victims in Los Angeles have not seen a single dollar raised by Fire Aid. This big concert they had to raise money for the fire victims, Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles County. $100 million, it says, was funneled to nonprofits. What in the world is going on? There was so much criminality, especially here in California. $100 million funneled to nonprofits. How about a couple years ago? The $24 billion that was supposed to go to help the homeless in Los Angeles County, and nobody knows where that money went. And it seems like nobody really cares. But the amount of criminality we're seeing in the state of California, and look, it's happening all over the country, I get it. But every time I read one of these articles of what's happening in California, I cannot get out of this state fast enough. Where did all this money go? Who are these nonprofits? Not one of these homeless people who lost their home in the fire has seen $1. Has not seen $1 for Fire Aid. California, America, please wake up. They just continue to steal your money and nobody does anything about it. To the victims of the fires, I pray for you. A horrendous tragedy, and it is so disgusting how the politicians and the criminals just continue to steal money from people who are homeless at this point, cannot get their homes rebuilt, and they're continuing to fight insurance companies. They're fighting the bureaucracy. Really, really sad. It really is. Comment down below. Here's one from Fox Business today. National Debt Tracker. American taxpayers, that's you, are now on the hook for $36,653,918,652,499.85. You know, there are people that will comment and say, you know, JB, you're a broken record. You're always saying the same thing. Well, that's kind of impossible because I go over the news every day, the most current news every day. But yes, I was talking about the national debt probably from the first week I ever made a YouTube video, and which was around 2015, if I'm correct, somewhere around that point. Maybe it was 2018. I don't remember. But if we go back to 2015, national debt, $18.1 trillion. That's back in 2015. Fast forward 10 years. Now we're approaching $37 trillion in debt. So 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I was talking about the debt, and I'm still talking about it today. And guess what? It keeps going up. It keeps getting worse. It keeps destroying your purchasing power. So we all need to be talking about this. We all need to be preparing for this. We all need to be protecting ourselves from this, because this number of $36.6 trillion, it's not going down. It's going to go up. And how is that going to affect the average American? The average American is going to get destroyed every time they go to the store. Every time they purchase something, their dollars are going to continue to buy less. This is extremely inflationary. And it's another reason why I myself continue to hold and buy more gold, more silver. By the way, gold was up 40 bucks today. We're sitting at $3,442. Silver was up around 40 cents, $39.47 an ounce and climbing. We're going to see $40 silver, I think, very, very soon. We're going to see $3,500 gold here very, very soon. $3,500 is going to go to $4,000. $40 silver is going to $50 silver. As long as this debt continues to go up and these deficits continue to go up, these metals are going to continue to go up. There is just no doubt in my mind that this is just the beginning. You're going to see a complete demise of fiat currency across the globe. They're in big trouble. These currencies are not money, they're just paper. This is just monopoly money. The real money is gold, silver. Be protecting yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give financial advice. I don't like to get political. I just talk about the facts here. I'm just going over some of these articles. We need to all be thinking about how we're protecting ourselves. We need to be thinking about preparations, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. There's a lot going on. And if you want to be a mute, if you want to just be a zombie, if you want to ignore this stuff, that's fine. You have the right to do that. But understand, you are going to be victimized by this. You are going to pay a price down the road if you are not preparing for the storm that is coming. Pivotal week for housing data as Goldman sees broader slowdown. This on the Hedge today. There's no doubt the slowdown in housing is broadening. Existing home sales for June will be released tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll get the new home sales. That data will be released on Thursday. And as most of you know, housing, everything revolves around housing. Housing is the canary in the coal mine. And I really think that they're not telling us how bad housing really is. We are in a housing collapse right now. And somebody will write me and go, oh, but home prices are at all-time highs, but people aren't buying the houses. They can't afford to buy the houses. We're seeing homes at prices that we saw back in 21, 22 when rates were 3% or below, and now people are still believing they're going to get 21, 22 prices when rates have over doubled at 7%. Again, home prices must come down or mortgage rates must come down, one or the other, or this market is going to completely stay frozen, stagnant. And I don't see mortgage rates going back to 3%. I really don't. So this is really a war of attrition now between buyers and sellers, and inventory is going to continue to pile up. And you can tell me that prices are at all-time highs, but I will just tell you that this is one of the worst housing markets we have ever seen, and it will probably be worse than 2024. Remember, in 2024, 71% of all real estate agents across America did zero deals last year, zero. So you can tell me how much a house costs and that a seller is asking top notch, but they're just not getting the numbers, and they're not going to. This market is collapsing. If you're a seller, you better wake up, you better price it right, or you're going to continue to fall behind the curve. Peter Schiff, central bankers versus the dollar. We're not changing course. We are headed on a course to a fiscal disaster, Peter Schiff says. Should Trump replace Jerome Powell? Let me ask all of you this. Comment down below. Should President Trump replace Jerome Powell with an ultra-dove Fed chairman? Do you think that that's going to fix things? I say absolutely not. He should not be doing this. And if he does do it, and he does replace Powell with an ultra-dove, which he would do, I think this is going to be catastrophic for the housing market and even for the stock market. I think that things will react very negatively. But just think, if you do lower rates, interest rates, does that automatically mean, does it guarantee that we're going to see lower mortgage rates? It doesn't. And if we do, what does that mean for housing? Well, if we see lower mortgage rates, that means home prices will probably go up, meaning we'll see even less sales, meaning it will cost more to put down on a house. It's going to cost more to insure the house. It will be higher taxes on the house. So higher prices, I don't think, are so good for the housing market right now. Because again, you pay more in taxes, you pay more in insurance, you have to put more down on that house. And of course, you have to borrow more money. So cheap money doesn't always mean smart money. Peter Schiff says, if he does do this, this will crash the dollar, eviscerate savers, and send long-term interest rates soaring much higher. And there are rumors that Jerome Powell is going to walk away on Monday. Don't know. Those are the rumors. I don't know. But if he does do that, I think that, I don't know, this will be ultra positive for the stock market, or it will be ultra negative. I don't know yet. But maybe it will be positive for the stock market. I think it's going to be very negative for the housing market. Peter Schiff says we have a low rate, addicted economy. No doubt about it. You reward the borrower, but you punish the saver. He says the big beautiful bill has 1,116 pages. Not one page reduces future deficits. Again, I will say, this is why I own gold and silver. This is why I continue to buy gold and silver, because when I read stuff like this, and I think Peter Schiff's a smart guy. He hasn't called everything 100%, nobody has, but he's called a lot of it right. And if he's not right now, he's going to be right very, very soon, just like many of you are saying the same things. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Just connect the dots and don't believe all of the data. We know that the data is very skewed, very manipulated. All you have to do is go to your local mall, go to your local grocery store, pay your health insurance, pay your auto insurance, go buy a car today, go buy a house, pay your rent, pay your utility bills. Do I really need to tell you something you don't already know? Things cost more than ever. Mass layoffs taking place right now. Wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. We have a very, very divided country. The national debt is soaring. We're still in wars. It just goes on. And this is why, because of all the uncertainty and the certainty of the chaos, why I continue to buy gold and silver. And I've been buying it since probably around 2013. So what's that, 12 years? Done very, very well. Done very, very well. And people could go, well, but you didn't buy crypto. Well, I bought something that doesn't rely on celebrities, doesn't rely on electricity. I'm not telling anybody out there not to buy cryptos. Do whatever your heart desires. Buy whatever you want. To me, it's straight up gambling. And maybe I'm a little bit old school. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. But I prefer gold and silver. I can go anywhere in the world, convert it to any currency in the world, extremely liquid. I don't need electricity. I don't need a computer. It is God's money with 5,000 years of history. It will never be worth zero. There is not one crypto out there that could ever guarantee that, because any crypto out there tomorrow could be worth zero. Don't believe me? Cut the electricity off, cut the grid down, and it's worth zero tomorrow. So everybody has to do what they think is right for them. And look, being a little diversified is very, very good. But at the end of the day, to me, the cryptos are straight up gambling. And people don't buy cryptos thinking, oh, I can't, I got to put this away for 10, 20 years down the road. I buy gold and silver. I put it away. I don't even think about it for many, many years. That's how I've done it. People don't do that with cryptos. They do it hoping that it's going to go up tomorrow, that it's going to go up next week, that they're going to get rich quick. It's instant gratification. It is straight up gambling, my opinion. Again, do what your heart desires. Insurers request huge Obamacare rate hikes, many over 20%. You're going to pay a lot more for health insurance next year. And how is this not inflationary? And it's going to be a lot more than 2.7%. Blue Shield, Blue Cross, Illinois wants a 27% hike. Blue Cross, Texas wants a 21% hike. This is massive on top of the hikes we've already seen. Healthcare costs and cutting government subsidies is continuing to the higher costs. How many people at this point can't even afford healthcare? Can't even afford health insurance? It's getting unsustainable, ladies and gentlemen. The price of a house, a car, healthcare, groceries, it's getting so out of reach for so many people. It is really, really sad. But yet we're being told that inflation is literally like gone. They're literally telling us there's no inflation. It's not even a problem now. But you could be getting a 27% increase on top of the multiple increases on your health insurance. Sherwin-Williams sees do-it-yourself product sales fall with demand set to deteriorate. I wonder why. I wonder why. People are paying so much in healthcare, rent, mortgage, insurance, utilities. They can't even afford to do projects around the house anymore. Here's another one from the Hedge today. All-electric United States Postal Service fleet sees each truck come with a $6.8 million price tag. The people in charge of this country, our politicians, have done us such a disservice. They really have. They have literally lit your money on fire and laughed. And if you think that these are the same people who are going to fix the economy that they destroyed over decades, you're sadly mistaken. I'm losing all faith. I really am. I pray nothing but positive things for this administration. But this thing is so far gone. And I'm not blaming, let me get this straight, I'm not blaming this administration. We have had decades and decades of abuse, of theft and criminality. Your taxes continue to go higher and higher, and you get less and less. Sleepy Joe boondoggled billions of dollars with these electric trucks. We got 250 of these postal trucks, and it's cost us, the taxpayer, you and me, $6.8 billion with a B, billion dollars. Now, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter to me. I just believe in what's right, what's wrong. That's it. This is completely BS. People are hurting. People are starving. People are getting evicted. People, their businesses are going under. And we spent $6.8 billion on 250 postal trucks that are freaking breaking down. King World News, buckle up. We are now entering the endgame of fiat currencies. I mean, what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, is no joke. And, you know, the people that were laughing a few years ago, they're not laughing anymore. They are not laughing anymore because this stuff is affecting them now. When they used to laugh about the homeless people, they don't laugh anymore because they might be homeless now, or they might be very close to being homeless. They would laugh about these type of articles that, hey, the economy's doing fine, they have a job, they're eating 3 squares a day, they have a nice little house, they're fine. Now they lost their job. Now they're not laughing. You know, it's not always about us or me. You have to think about other people. Just because you have a job and you're eating well and you have a nice car and a nice house, think about what's happening to the rest of the country. You are absolutely blessed if you're living that dream. But think about what's happening to so many other people and think about how quickly it can all be taken away. Private sector economies are already in recession, according to this article, and will further descend into slump territory. The consequences for government revenue are bound to be catastrophic. Debt to GDP metrics for all G7 nations will go through the roof as borrowing soars and their GDPs decline. We're in big trouble. A lot of the globe is in big trouble, and we're not going to stop what's coming. The wheels are in motion. There's no going back. We cannot control what is coming. We cannot stop this. But we have to do what we can do in our own households. We have to do what we can do to soften the blow. This economy is crashing right before your very eyes. It's a very, very slow crash. It's been crashing for many, many years. And I will continue to talk about this daily as it continues to crash. I will continue to report these articles, this data. And I will continue to remind everybody and reiterate with all of you, because a lot of times we need something to be repeated. We need to hear something in order to stay on path, because sometimes we think we're the only ones, or we get lazy, we get complacent. And sometimes it's just good to hear that you're not the only one feeling the pain. You're not the only one that sees the problem. You're not the only one preparing. That you're not the only one that sees the problem. There's a real problem out there. There's many. And I just sit here daily. I want to reiterate with all of you that these problems are here. They exist. They're not going away. And we must continue preparing for what is coming. I want to end with this last article. It's all over the internet today. Ozzy Osbourne has passed. You know, I actually, over the years, have said some prayers for Ozzy Osbourne. Because I really, you know, I see Ozzy Osbourne, family, but the Prince of Darkness, he was into some really dark things and died at 76. And with all due respect to his family, he's a parent. This is another example. And I've said a few prayers for Ozzy Osbourne because, you know, he wasn't doing too well over the last few years. And if he didn't turn it around, I knew he would wake up in a bad place. And I think today, Ozzy Osbourne woke up in a bad place. I think today, Ozzy Osbourne met his maker and was judged. And look, that's between him and God. Hopefully he's in paradise. But if we look at the actions, you know, the 666, the inverted crosses, the skulls, the music, Mr. Crowley, Aleister Crowley, if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, this was a very perverted warlock witch, did some evil atrocities to people, to kids, a hardcore Satanist. These are the type of people that Ozzy Osbourne sang about, respected, you know, wearing the inverted crosses, putting the inverted crosses on the albums, all of that. Do you think Ozzy Osbourne woke up in paradise today? Do you think Ozzy Osbourne was not judged today? And look, I pray that he woke up in paradise. Maybe he got right with God at the end. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe he got right at the very end. That's between him and God. But if he didn't, the Prince of Darkness met the real Prince of Darkness today. And it's a reminder to all of us, we don't know how much time we have here. And we need to be conscious of the things we say, the things we do, the things we believe in. Because one day, just like Ozzy Osbourne, we're going to meet our Maker. And we're going to paradise or we're going to hell. And unfortunately, I feel that Ozzy Osbourne didn't get right with God, and he's probably in hell today. Again, that's between him and God. Maybe at the end, he got right. I pray that he did. But if you're running around with inverted crosses, singing about Aleister Crowley, 666, all this black magic, Satanism, he just did a concert a few weeks ago with Black Sabbath, and this huge tribute to Black Sabbath and the black magic and all this evil stuff. And he's sitting on a black throne with the black skulls and the inverted crosses. And this stuff's real, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to go where Ozzy Osbourne is probably at today. Get right with God. Nobody's perfect. I'm no angel. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to do a better job. I'm trying to walk closer to God. I'm saying my prayers every day. I'm giving thanks to God, and I'm asking God for direction. And I'm not a pastor. I'm not a prophet. Just a regular guy. But I don't want to see people go where Ozzy Osbourne probably went. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Be safe out there. Be walking close to God. Talk to all of you soon.